the day. The state of Tamil Nadu is facing another political war of words between the state governor RN Ravi and DMK-led government in the states. The fault lines are not new. On numerous occasions, the state government and the governor have been involved in a bitter battle. This confrontation is not just limited to words. Crucial bills have been pending with the governor, and many have even lapsed due to the inordinate delays awaiting assent. The governor also invited controversy when he made a remark on the Sterlite protests. The governor said that there was foreign funding behind the 2018 anti-Sterlite protests in Thoothukudi and the Kundankulam nuclear plant. With these comments, the daggers are out again, with the government and the governor taking on at each other. The friction between these two constitutional officers has resulted in administrative paralysis and limbo, affecting matters of grave public importance. We discuss the story.
I don't know, when somebody keeps something pending, will it mean rejecting it? Does he know English?
Well, let's tell you about the confrontation and the flare-ups so far. The 2018 anti-Sterlite protests, Governor RN Ravi had termed the protests as foreign funding. You also had the DMK MP Kanimodi, which hit out saying that the governor is defaming people's struggle, withholding bills of the government and withholding the assent of the bills passed by the DMK government. Talking about the Coimbatore blast as well, the government had questioned the delay by the state government and asked why the NIA probe was not recommended. After 4 days, the NEET bill, of course, another crucial point that was there between the two sides. The government returned the bill seeking to dispense NEET. Based admissions, state passed second bill to the medical admissions, plus 2 scores national education policy was another point of confrontation. The governor extended support to policy. The chief minister opposed this policy, and also this entire meet and greet snub that happened back in April 2022. The government actually skipped the reception by the governor, CM, he still skipped the reception amid the NEET bill. There was a face-off over the VC appointments. The bill empowering state to appoint VCs, it was passed in April 2022. The move came after the governor appointed VCs to 3 state veracities. You'd remember the praise for Sanatan Dharm that had come in, and the state government objected to governor's invocation of Sanatan Dharm. In June, the governor said that Sanatan Dharm built India, and this was something that did not go down well with the DMK government. There are pending bills as well, 21 bills that were passed by the assembly pending with the Raj Bhavan. Bills including anti-NEET, also the cooperative bills were pending. The gaming bill was another point of contention. Various bills that the state government had passed, the legislature had passed, actually lapsed when they reached the doorstep of the governor. These are the key controversies that we saw. Joining us on the broadcast is Mr. Kovai Satyan from the AIADMK. Mr. TK Selangovan, the senior leader of the DMK, is also joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Selangovan, coming to you first and taking in a view from you. The governor had something to say when it comes to Sterlite protests, and he said that there was foreign funding behind it. How do you see the governor's statement? Are they backed by facts?
This is the most funniest thing for a governor to say, because at that time the ADMK was in power and people were agitating for 100 days. What their charge was that the water is polluted and air is polluted. The government could have put an end to it. There is a central environment agency. Here there is, in the state there is a pollution control board, in the center there is a pollution control board. All they could have done is to send a team of experts, test the water and air, and would have told the people that there is no pollution. Or else if there is pollution, they would have warned the company that to do something which will, by that they will not let out polluting things in the air and water. Without doing all these things, the government was watching for more than 100 days. Why, if the money is paid to the agitators, why should the government wait for 100 days and kill 13 people? That is my question. When you have agencies to find out the reason whether the people are agitating is right, you should have used it. You didn't do neither. You didn't even speak to the people. You didn't try to test the air and water. You killed 13 people, and now the governor says that it is there is a foreign funding behind it. Then why were you running a government there in the center? What is your Central Pollution Control Board doing?
Mr. Kovai Satyan, was this an
That is my
insensitive
question.
comment for the governor to make? Even earlier in the past, at various occasions, the DMK government has said that these are not the matters on which the governor should be speaking of. And especially at a time when the relationship between the government and the governor have not been good, why evoke or talk about such issues which can only give rise to further confrontation?
I can only pity at DMK. Look at their double standards. While they were in opposition, when the bills are pending with the governor, they were spinning a narrative. The ruling government has not exerted enough pressure on the governor to act in time. Now, while they are in the power, won't the same logic apply to them? Did they use any judicial means and prowess to prove their point? Let me give you an example. A 7.5% internal reservation for NEET aspirants for government school students. The bill was sent to Banwarilal Purohit, who was the governor at that point of time. He didn't reply for 45 days. Our leader, Edappadiya, didn't wait for the governor's assent. He released a GU. The assent from the governor was followed after we released the GU. And we know what we did right. And governor cannot question on certain parameters on constitution authority or whether it is in detrimental to the nature of the NEET bill passed by the center. Everything was laid clear. He couldn't find any loopholes. Once the GO was passed, he fell in line. And what's happening today? The online gambling bill was sent first. These people are waiting indefinite for the governor to respond. They didn't pass the GO when the response came on time. And Mr. Ilangovan, who is the senior most, talking about Tuticorin incident and still saying that we killed 13 people. I am surprised that the commission, inquiry commission, which they constituted by the Justice Aruna Jagadishan, I don't know whether he had read the commission report or not. Because the commission was, let me read out. It was formed to inquire into the causes and circumstances leading to the opening of fire,
No, but Mr.
resulting in death and injuries to persons. And no way they could find out it was our leader Edappadiya who ordered for firing on the innocent people. And the commission didn't even probe into the means and ways how these agitators were agitating for 100 days and who are funding the same and who are those anti-social elements who took law into their own hand, trying to vandalize the private property by barging into the factory. These were not in the commission reports. And when the governor said there are anti-social elements and there are funds from abroad which fuel these kinds of agitations, they got off guard.
Mr. Alangovan, the argument Mr. Kovai Satyan is making, that what the governor is saying, you may not agree to it, but he has plausible grounds to make the comments that he has made.
No. I don't agree with it because for the past, for more than 100 days, lakhs of people were agitating, stating that their children were affected by drinking this water and inhaling the air. What did the Central Pollution Control Board and the State Pollution Control Board did during this time? Did they made any efforts to find out whether there is really pollution in the air and water? Whether they had instructed the company to set things right? Did they do anything? When people are agitating, what is the duty of the government? They want good water and good air, that's all. For which they were fighting for more than 100 days and both the governments were silent on that. Why? Is it governance? Ultimately, they say that 13 people were killed, they entered the factory. Why after 100 days? What were you doing for 100 days is my question. After 100 days, people get more agitated.
Mr. Kovai Satyan, the argument that the DMK has made is that by making these comments, the struggle of the people has been disrespected. There are people, over a dozen people, who lost their lives. There were serious issues that the local population had raised during the 2018 Sterlite protest. Even today, it remains a very, very emotive issue. and the governor, without giving due consideration to all these particular comments and these circumstances, made these comments in a manner in which perhaps he should have not spoken.
See, DMK distorting history to suit their narrative is not new. So the comments from the senior most person, TK Silangovan, distorting the history to their narrative is not new. It is an proven fact. The State Pollution Control Board had acted in time. A notice were sent to Sterlite on flouting pollution norms. It went to judiciary and they were made to pay fine in crores, which Sterlite also accepted that yes, they flouted pollution norms. When the agitators were agitating closure of the plant, it was our leader Edapadiyar who took a call to close the plant. The plant was closed and they were out to explore their judicial avenues. And the protest was continuing, asking for a permanent closure of the plant. And after the plant was sealed, what is the need to continue the protest is the biggest question. But our leader didn't say no to the protesters. They say it is their democratic rights. And we sent force to safeguard the protest. On the 100th day, when the social evil elements sneaked in and made the common innocent protesters as their shield, and they want to take the law and order into their hands, it is the commission constituted by DMK,
we have spoken about this issue. We've spoken about the Sterlite issue. I also want you to briefly touch upon the fact that the governor has also been sitting on a lot of crucial bills that have lapsed, and perhaps that is another thing that has led to the worsening of relationship between the governor and the government's office. Yes, sir, finish your point. Let
me complete. Yeah. So this was the turn of events. Now DMK caught off guard because we allege DMK has a hand in glove with the anti-social elements which took law into their own hands at that point of time. When the governor is questioning on these stands, definitely they are caught off guard. They don't have anything to defend. They can come out and open on the commission findings, and why can't they make it open to the public, saying this was the commission findings is what governor says is wrong. They couldn't come out and open, but they are pick and choosing certain statements and words from the governor and trying to suit their own narrative. The governor has said on 3 occasions how the bill passed by the legislation is being handled. If it is a finance bill, he passes immediately. If it is a bill which has got legislation clarity, which doesn't have legislative clarity, he keeps it abeyance, which means that it is dismissed. The third is he sends to the president. So if there is no clarity, if he keeps it abeyance, which is termed to be dismissed, he is pointing finger at the government, state government to give more clarity, which the state government DMK failed to address. They should send their legal experts and they should ensure that the clarity has been given to the governor on whatever doubts he has got. That's what exerting pressure means.
Well, sir, all I can say as an independent observer and what people have been facing in the state is that these two constitutional functionaries are at an open war with each other. It's not helping governance, it's not helping the key legislations, and this narrative clearly is not helping the larger administration of the state. Thank you, Mr. Kovai Satyan, for joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Ellen Govan, I'm sorry, I'm short of time. Thank you for joining us on the broadcast. The threat of